What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at Black Phone, which is a movie which I thought I reviewed like a while ago, but unfortunately I didn't. So again, spooky month is over, unfortunately, but we can still watch scary movies, and we can watch them together, we can talk about them, and this is a movie which I did watch when it first came out, I do believe. I watched it around the time that it first came out, and I thought it was really good. It was a horror movie, like, obviously, and it actually worked as a horror movie because it did get me a couple of times, it did scare me, and it did put me on edge, but it wasn't like your stereotypical horror movie, and it sort of had twists and turns which I didn't expect, and it had me on the edge of my seat for like majority of the movie. We have looked at the main actor's work on something that he did after this movie. He did go on to do sort of a Netflix movie which we took a look at a couple of days ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago at this point, I don't really remember. But anyway, without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say. So The Black Phone is a 2021 horror mystery, which is 1 hour and 42 minutes. It does have a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb, an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3 out of 5 on Common. You can watch this on Netflix, Google Play, or Amazon Prime. And the story is all about Finley Shaw, and he is a shy but clever 13-year-old. And he's being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic, masked killer. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers that he can hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finley. Or to Finney. Sorry, I got his name wrong. So how this movie actually starts is with Finney and his sister walking to school, you know, basically getting us into his life, showing us what his basic day-to-day life is before it all begins to change and turn upside down. And it all turns upside down when this guy comes out of a black van, you know, actually changing the color of the van. To be fair, normally like the pedo van is white, but this time it's black, and he opens the doors to reveal a load of balloons to sort of, you know, be like a party trick magician sort of clown thing, and then he chloroforms the kid, shoves him in the back of the van, and drives off. This movie is set in like the 80s, way before sort of parents really cared about their children, you know, like just let them go outside, let them play outside, they'll be fine, oh well. And before phones were a thing, so you couldn't really call, couldn't really track your kids like with Find My Phone or Find My Child or anything like that. It was just go play outside, fuck off, you're annoying me, alright? And plus letting them walk home and like to and from school on their own was normal as well. 80s were a different time. And you know, he was captured, and he was put in this basement. He wakes up to see this dude wearing like a serial killer mask, and it's like an Oni mask, but also not an Oni mask. I don't actually know what the mask is, but it does have separate parts because he can change the expression of the mask between happy, sort of angry, and sad. And he can also take the top part off, which is really weird. But anyway, there's like a black phone, you know, the title of the movie, in this basement. He has a mattress on the floor. This guy brings him food and water every day, and there is like a window really high up. His sister sort of has paranormal sort of visions of where he is, so she goes on this mission to find him, and she finds the house, she works out where he is, and she sort of has to tell the police where he is. And you know, they go there, he's not there, they don't find him, so they go again, and they go to a different house, and they find him there. But all the time, whilst they're looking for him in all these different houses that the girl thinks she's seeing him in, it's just the wrong house. Like, in her visions, she's not, like, seeing the house, she's seeing, like, the house across the street from it, or she's seeing, like, the house next door to it, and she's just like, you know, come on, we gotta go and investigate, he's over here, he's this way, like, I need to find my brother. But whilst they're doing that, he's getting phone calls from like the previous victims, which are telling him how to escape, what they did, what they found out about this bunker. Like, there's a key here, he goes to sleep at this time, there's this at this time, you can undo the bars, if you push this up against here, you can do that. And every kid that talks to him is like talking to him over a different night. It's like one phone call a day from a different spirit, and it tells you about their story, how they were kidnapped, how they were killed, and it sort of has them sort of standing slightly behind them, out of focus as well. It's like slightly behind Finney. They're stood there like with their necks slit or their like forehead slit, their eyes gouged out or whatever, however they died. And they all have different personality types. Like some of them are rough, some of them are quite kind, and they're all sort of trying their best to help Finney. And it's just this sort of like race against time, this time crunch, this time pressure of when he's going to come down, if he finds him, if he catches him doing this, if he's sort of like, you know, gonna find out if he's sleeping. And he catches him like quite a few times, and that's when we start to see the mask change from being really smiley when he first arrives to being neutral to then being sad and then angry by the very end. And that's when he starts to sort of go on his murderous streak, and we can sort of see the sort of mindset change within the villain. I don't know like what the villain's motives were, but like you could see the slow descent and like the slow change with being really happy, really friendly to him. It's like the masks were changing him, and was like he got really angry and really aggressive, and he felt like a completely different character when he had that like angry mask on. And whoever this actor is that played the main villain, he was fucking incredible. He gave a really convincing, threatening sort of like aura about him, which like genuinely scared the shit out of me. Like, he was very threatening to see him sort of do this, and you were on the edge of your seat for the entire movie, like hoping that Finney got out. You were proper rooting for him, because like the ghosts were rooting for him, his sister was trying to find him. You got to know him and got to like learn with him and sort of experiences with him throughout the movie, so you're rooting for him, you're hoping that he escapes, you wanted him to escape, and when he does, it's like a massive like weight off your shoulders. It's like a massive sigh of relief. You can finally breathe again, because there's some really tense moments where you're holding your breath, because it's like, holy shit, you're scared to breathe for him, because you know like this is like a really serious, really dangerous, really scary situation for a young one to be in, for a little one to be in. Like, again, he is only 13 years old. This is like a lot for him to do, and a lot for him to like figure out on his own. And it is insanely like, it's not scary in the sense of, jump scare, I've shit myself, or monsters running after me, shit. It's more scary in the fact that this is like realistic, this is tense, this is like unnerving, this is like, oh shit, is he gonna die now? Is the killer gonna kill him? Is he gonna like keep him? Like, what's the killer thinking about? What's the killer doing? It does give us a couple of things as well, where it like shows us that he's sat at the top of the stairs waiting for him to come up, and Finney doesn't know, but we know, and that just builds like a huge amount of tension, a huge amount of suspense, because we know that he's waiting for him, but Finney doesn't, and it just causes us to feel this like massive unease, unnerving, because there's nothing we can do to help him. And like, you don't go into it feeling like scared, as in like, oh shit, like someone's gonna come out, someone's gonna get me. It's more like, oh fuck, like, please don't happen, please don't happen, please don't get him. Like, you're scared for them. You're not scared. It's a hard feeling to explain. It's like I know what I'm trying to say, I just can't get it into words. And it's really satisfying to see all the souls of all the dead kids come out and like be released, and to finally be able to rest, to finally be able to like go and sort of live in the afterlife, and just sort of forget about all of it, and not have to sort of be trapped, sort of angry and resentful. They can just chill, disappear. And I'm pretty sure we get a real nice moment where Finney actually gets to say goodbye to them all and to say thank you, and they all feel really proud of themselves for helping Finney get out of this. It's a really satisfying conclusion, and it just makes for such a good story. This is a movie that I could rewatch again and again, like every Halloween. I don't think it's like a Halloween movie, like a religious Halloween movie that you should watch every Halloween, but I do think that it is still a good movie that should be on your Halloween radar. Like, obviously you have Freddy, like Jason, Leatherface, all those basic ones that you should watch around Halloween time, but having this one thrown into the mix as well just gives you a different type of scare, it gives you a different type of feeling, and it sort of really catches you off guard as well, with like this like phenomenal acting, the incredible set design, the incredible sound design as well, of the sort of phone ringing and the sort of focus on the phone throughout all of it, even though it's disconnected, and just the paranormal of it all. It just works so nicely and comes together so well in a quite a satisfying movie. So if you do ever get a chance to watch this, I do recommend that you go and do so, because it is such a good movie. It works well as a thriller. I don't think you could call it a horror, but it's definitely a thriller. I don't know if I gave it a score. Did I give it a score? 8 out of 10. If I did give it a score, it's an 8 out of 10.